Hello and welcome yet again to this space. Now, today we're going to be talking about a topic that only makes sense for repro wellness. We're finally going to talk about pregnancy and wellness during pregnancy. So, yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, when we speak about wellness during pregnancy, we are focusing on the wellness of someone who is preparing to become a mother, a first-time mother. It doesn't necessarily have to be you're a first-time mom. It can be you're a third-time mom or watano.
Right.
It's all good because they say uh, pregnancies and the birth is different for every child.
Right.
So today we are zooming in into a topic we term it as matrescence. Matrescence actually is a word that all women out there should know because it means where we are being reshaped not only physically but emotionally and psychologically into us becoming mothers.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a very wholesome term because it describes a lot, the depth of it. And many, many moms, many first time moms, even consecutive children moms, are not able to really we are not able to point a finger on what exactly is going on. So I'm glad that there's that term describing, the change, the transformation, the adjustment, brain, body, mind, soul, and everything. Yeah.
And when we are speaking about wellness, we just want to focus on what is good for you as a mother. And so we will begin with your identity. When you first start becoming a mother, the first thing that happens is you reshaping how you work, how you think. And so we're beginning with what happens to you and the change that is going on around you. And so we want to focus on because you're changing from a girl to that's a huge transition that people should be able to accept. So we need to be able to radically accept that this is what is happening. And even during that change, and all changes are linked to loss. Someone has to be losing something. So it's either the loss is pathological or the loss is a transition marker for a mother. And that is we'd like to maybe focus on a little bit so that you as a viewer, one that is watching this, you ensure that the thoughts that are going on through your mind is not negative but more of empowering to you.
All right, yeah. So with that identity shift and everything going on within you, I hear you saying that we need to pause and reflect. Is this just transition, or is it, or rather, do I understand that this is just transition, or are my thoughts moving to something more pathological? Are my thoughts moving to something more, I don't know, destructive, self-harming, etc. So now, maybe checking in on yourself looks like, do I understand that first of all things are going to change, right? Because understanding that beforehand, whether um, whether it is during like when you're attempting rather than doing your best to conceive, during that time, yes, you're making effort to conceive, but what are you doing about maybe empowering yourself with information about pregnancy, and then after your strip turns, when you get the two lines of the positive pregnancy test, moving forward, how are you empowering yourself with just knowledge about what's going to change? Because in knowing, I expect change, I expect to feel different, I expect a transition within myself, even like in terms of identity. Me knowing that, then I'm able to prepare for it. I'm able to like hide and matter off guard. It won't catch me off guard when it happens. Yeah, so yeah, I think that beforehand preparation, that empowering yourself with as much knowledge as before pregnancy and as you're walking the journey of pregnancy.
I love the fact that you have brought up that thing of you are now transitioning from someone who was really trying and now you are moving to becoming you are now pregnant.
Yeah.
And so during this time, of course, when you are trying for a baby, there was emotions all around it. And also during you now being pregnant with it, your emotions have definitely shifted from whatever feeling that you're feeling to another one. And so we'd like to dive into where we are now experiencing this anxiety of being a mom.
Right.
Whatever everything that is happening during preparation, we are getting ready. So we truly I'm again insisting so much on the emotions that you have. Ensure that whether it is the anxiety that you're feeling, even though it is you are anticipating it and you are like, am I going to have like a nice pregnant journey? Because the first trimester we have all that um sickness and everything. There's a lot of imbalance that is going on, and our body feels different. But the most major thing that we need to ask ourselves is, are we embracing this change with positivity or not?
Right. And now that you have highlighted, the first trimester, I think also um, getting information about what to expect during each trimester. We do that a lot, like from a physical, like from your physical health perspective. You know that morning sickness is normal during the first trimester. That heartburn will come at a point, and we know all these physical changes that will happen, but we sometimes don't emphasize enough on the emotional, on the mental changes to expect and what is normal and what isn't. So maybe shifting, or rather letting your self-care encompass the going to the hospital, making sure that your weight is in check, your pressure is in check, and also caring for your mental health, caring for your emotional health, like bringing that on board, so that your care for yourself during pregnancy is wholesome. Now, a good way to do that, um, I love to talk to moms during this journey, and a good way to do that would be, or a suggestion, a recommendation would be, as you're going to see your doctor, if I have a doctor's visit this month, why not schedule either a sit down with a therapist or a group mom sit down, for something for my mental health. So either a sit down with a therapist or a sit down in the park to journal, or something to fill my cup emotionally. So ensuring that every month, every time you're going to see it, I think when you're scheduling time, or when you set a time for your gyna, is a good time to remind you. I also need to schedule time, for my wellness emotionally and mentally.
There's there's a saying, as you're speaking, there's a saying that goes, if you plan, if you fail to plan, you actually plan to fail.
Right.
And this applies to anything.
Right.
And I know that as women, we have a lot of things you are thinking about, uh, the birth and everything. But this is us just bringing it to your attention that even with a birth preparation and wellness, you need to actually prepare for it and plan for it well. And just like she has said, you need to have like a birth plan, and we have a lot of people who are offering this birth plan for women and everything. I'd even shout out a page, it's called Nurture Nest Kenya. They have like a really, really nice birth plan for women. You can get to know what is happening to your body, and this prepares you as a person, and it helps you get to that point of surrendering and knowing that everything about your pregnancy is in the right hands.
I love where we are at, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that organization. I love where we're at, like in the world currently, or even in Kenya, the kind of care we are embracing for moms. I really love it, because then moms aren't struggling on their own. It's not something to struggle with on your own. One,
Yeah.
there is like lots of improved care for moms during pregnancy. And then there's this new trend I love, yeah, doulas, your doula during that day, during now birth. And something I even love more is that the organizations right now offering care for months after,
Yeah.
like a nighttime nurse, or daytime help. In fact, you can either choose to have it in your home or to do a 2 weeks, 3 weeks in their venue, in their location, and just get taken care of you and baby, as you heal, which is incredible because I moms have been struggling with them. By struggling, I don't mean they hawajakuwa kiweza. They've been doing it, just that they've been doing it with so much struggle, with so much stress. They've been doing it alone for such a long time. So the fact that people are thinking, even from a business perspective, how can we make a mom's pregnancy and postpartum journey, more fulfilling, more less stressful, more wholesome, more, they're thinking about wellness, etc. So this is really, really, really good. I think my recommendation, my encouragement to everyone listening is embracing this kind of care. And of course, the finances are a big part of all this because all this does cost money. But to the degree that you are able, make sure that you're doing the very best for yourself. And maybe something important to mention is medical care or medical care during this period and how that is looking in Kenya. You know how there's this notion that in public hospitals, then the people are treated as well as they're pregnant, when they're pregnant and they're going to their prenatal clinics.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe can you speak into that a little bit from a psychological perspective, like the hospital visits, but from a like what is that doing to women? What does good and empathetic care, from specialists do? What does that do for a woman?
Well, let us just start beginning by first acknowledging the point that you had talked about, that women have been struggling a lot.
Right.
The fact that we can see that we have been struggling a lot, all women all around, we need to get to that point where we are accepting that we have been struggling, and whether we have doulas, whether we have all these programs, it is still heavy on us women, and just accepting that it is heavy on us, whether you have a supportive partner, whether you have good doctors, it is still women who carry that heavier load, because there's no one who is helping you in breastfeeding. That is a topic for another day. There's nobody who is helping you with the night time and everything. So yes, you are struggling. Being a woman is a struggle. It is a really big struggle. And so for you to be able to take care of yourself, let us do this birth preparation and also have good doctors, because everybody deserves love, everybody deserves care. And what does self-care look like for someone who is pregnant? Number one, finding a place that works for you, because when you go to clinics that people are not, let's say, they're not more patient or more kinder, that causes, that brings rejection. And you cannot bring life into this world when the process that you've been going through has been filled with hurt, rejection. You go and it's a public hospital. We have a lot of people, and a lot of people means a lot of pressure, and this is not good for our overall wellness, just as a person. And I know, just like you have said, everything involves money, but we can always research and know where exactly what works for me and what is good for me and this baby that I want to bring into this world.
Indeed, indeed. I really love that you have highlighted the fact that with or without help, being a woman is hard, being a mom is hard, and just acknowledging that is also very freeing, because then as you're going through the intense symptoms, you don't feel like I'm being a baby about this. Like I'm feeling this way, or it's hard for me because I'm weak. No, it's hard for you because it is hard in general. Now I think it's important, I don't know, for all of us in these conversations to remember, for everyone to do their bit, like now as a society outside just being a mom, for everyone to do their bit to treat moms with more kindness. And I love that as a society. I think as an African society, we do that quite well, or roughly well. You know how if you're expectant and you're going into a matatu, a good number of people are willing to make sure you get a good seat. You're willing to squish you and your kabeli.
Shout out to people who do that.
Yes, indeed. People who are willing to move for you to stand when you're in lines waiting or at the bank or whatever. All those are the small efforts that make a mom's journey just a little bit lighter.
Yes, sorry.
Mm.
And those are the things that pregnant women should be watching out. Those tiny little glimmers that people do for you. Someone moves for you to actually see it. That is beautiful, and that should lighten up your heart, and that is a form of self-care. And just so as to even as us being in this topic, we can dive into what does self-care look like for pregnant women. And that is number one, guys. When you see a man moving for you, or another woman, but mostly, well, whatever, whoever, that is a form of someone caring for you, and that is a plus. And that act of kindness already makes your nervous system to just feel relaxed.
Just you can breathe. True.
The second point, what self-care looks like, is know when to rest. Just being able to say, today I'm not leaving my house, today I'm not doing the heavy lifting inside my house. Just rest. And that is a way of actually preparing your body to ensure that you are bringing this life into this world.
Indeed. And as you're resting, okay, whether you've had a really productive day, productive in terms of you've accomplished so much, or you just had a very restful day, remembering that your body is doing so much work. When you're asleep and you're awake, your body is doing so much work because it's growing a tiny human, an entire human inside you. So at any point, because there are very many women who don't understand why they are exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
Many pregnant women who don't understand, why am I not as outgoing and as driven as I was before I got pregnant? The fact that at any given time, there are cells dividing and growing within you. There's just all this going on within you, is enough to give yourself grace. Like, give yourself grace during this period, because I mean you are doing, your body is doing so much work. Your mind is also doing so much. So, rest without guilt. Another way women can care for themselves during this period is setting aside very intentional time to journal. How am I feeling today? Just writing that down. If journaling is what works for you, whether it's written journaling or doing voice notes, just to make sure you're very in tune with how you're feeling, very in tune with whatever is going on within you, right? And setting, so your self care pocket of time can look like journaling. It can look like breathing exercises. Kwanzaa, breathing exercises are incredible for moms. um, I've remembered a viewer who requested for us to, open up a little bit more about breathing and its effectiveness. So we need to understand that there is, in general, the brain is what controls the rest of our body.
Yes.
But so that is top, top to bottom kind of control, right? But there are instances where there is bottom up and it's not the bottom up. You're in Guinea, but there's bottom up control, right? So there's what you can do with your body that actually sends signals to your brain, and then your brain responds appropriately. For example, breathing. Now, as you're taking a deep breath in and out, and focusing on your breath as you're breathing in, when you're seated, I think we've talked about this before, you're just seated, eyes closed, taking a deep breath in and then out, and focusing on your breath. As you're doing that, the message received by your brain is rest, relax, release tension, right? So it's kind of a way of tricking your brain into resting, tricking the rest of your body into resting. And there are all these different ways. There's focused breathing, there's combining breathing with mindfulness, there's combining breathing with grounding, there's just all these things. And so setting aside to do that and figure out what works for me. There are two types of breathing exercises that worked for me a lot during my second pregnancy, and that was in the kawaida, deep breath in, deep breath out, and the second one was um, uh, 3 deep breaths in and 3 deep breaths out. So and all this is very necessary, even as you're preparing for birth. Things you can use during birth, and it won't just come automatically when you're contracting. You have never practiced before. Alafu some you've gotten contractions, and then you imagine that your body will know how to breathe deeply. You need to do this way before, so have it as a slot a time for that in your day.
Intentionality.
Exactly.
And even as you say, that idea of breathing and everything, I want to remind women, breathing means use your mind as well. Sometimes people just, when they think about breathing, they're just thinking about, this is something that I do every day.
Sai
So,
napumua.
right. Napumua sai. But guys, take that time to actually think about your breath. Is it fast?
Right.
Is it slow? And this automatically brings your thoughts together, brings your emotions together to focus on this one thing, and that is indeed a form of rest, and it is good for a woman out there who is about to have a baby. And just before we actually close, we will just like to speak to everybody, a man out there, a woman out there, and ask yourself, what can I do to help a pregnant woman today to actually ease in her life, to make her feel better, to make her feel loved? Because a woman who is loved and cared for makes the world a better place.
Indeed, when she gets to flourish, then her family will flourish, her community will flourish.
The entire village.
Kabisa starts there. It starts hapo with the bearer of life, the one who carries life.
Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next one.